德州高档住宅区内竟然藏着中国人的非法产子中心，大批孕妇利用美国出生公民权的漏洞，拿着观光签证来美产子，生完再带回中国抚养。更夸张的是，目前竟有超过100万名美籍中国宝宝在共产政权下接受洗脑教育，未来将回流美国侵占福利资源。在最后有原声视频，敬请留意。
好，我们现在来追踪一则一直在关注的离奇新闻。有中国公民利用美国的属地主义生育公民权法律，特地到美国领土上生下中国宝宝，让这些孩子一出生就直接变成美国公民。但妙的是，他们随后就把宝宝带回中国抚养长大。目前有超过100万名在美国出生的孩子正待在中国被抚养。没错，超过100万人。各位想想看吧，因为这就是此时此刻在德州正在发生的事。据指控，这群人被鼓励在怀孕前就要先拿到观光签证，然后主办方会跟他们说：“放心的过来吧，我们这里什么都帮你安排好了。”据称，他们只要入住这些待产之家，不仅住宿会被妥善照顾，还会有人带他们四处兜风，甚至去观光景点踩点。去观光景点，看看那个社区，那么漂亮的房子，那么优美的环境，竟然被租下来专门让中国孕妇在美国生产，生完再去参观阿拉莫历史遗迹。我们邀请到踢爆这则内幕的每日电讯移民记者珍妮泰尔，以及每日电讯的评论作家克洛伊特拉帕纳多。两位晚上好。珍妮，你能带我们了解一下，在休士顿郊区的这些住宅里到底都在搞什么鬼吗？
没错，在休士顿郊外宁静的住宅区里，德州政府在一项诉讼中指控了大概4栋住宅，说他们涉嫌非法经营这种中国人专属的生育旅游中心。他们基本上就是把孕妇从中国接到美国，并涉嫌培训他们如何钻美国移民体系的漏洞，这本质上就是在教唆犯下移民诈欺罪。接着他们会全面照顾这些孕妇，确保孩子顺利在美国出生并取得公民权，之后产妇就能直接拍拍屁股回中国了。而这一切都发生在那些安静的社区里，外人根本完全看不出任何异状。
确实看不出来。好，我想追加问一个问题，这样搞一趟要花多少钱？还有，这些中国妇女是在那些民宅里自行生产，还是会送到当地的医院去生？
有的，顺带一提，他们甚至把这一切都高调发在抖音账号上，所以你能清楚看到他们在医院里的互动过程。画面上显示他们确实是在德州当地的医院生产，生完之后当然就把宝宝带回中国。但问题在于，这涉嫌触犯了诈欺罪，因为你明明是被培训拿观光签证入境，骨子里却是来生美国公民宝宝的。等到这些孩子满21岁后，父母就能开始坐享其成。
When they turn 21, they can start to apply.
孩子到时候能帮父母和家里的兄弟姊妹申请美国身份，所以这不只是在欺骗国家，更是变相在搞连锁移民。
But then also you're engaging in chain migration.
It's insanity.
这简直太疯狂了，克洛伊！而且他们还能顺便躺拿一张美国出生证明，这群人显然是在恶意剥削我们的法律。克洛伊，虽然珍妮刚才稍微提到了，但为什么一定要确保孩子在美国出生，却又要把他们带回中国养大？这样做的动机到底是什么？
这个嘛，我认为这群孩子被带回中国，很可能是为了接受中共共产主义的洗脑教育。等到他们在共产政权下完成学业后，就像珍妮刚才说的，他们就会再次回到美国，大肆侵占与享用我们的社会福利资源。珍妮这次的报道真的太出色了，我看完了所有的调查影片，我简直不敢相信这种事竟然就在我们的眼皮子底下公然发生。而且就像你提到的，还是在那些安静祥和的郊区，他们用观光签证当作掩护，搞得好像只是来美国度个小假一样。但短期临时签证的目的绝对不是让你跑来美国生小孩，借此窃取美国公民权。
By giving birth in the United States. And of course, all of this comes.
更不用说，在此之前才刚爆出另一名中国间谍王一林因非法担任中国政府代理人而被判有罪。
Of the Chinese government, we have China.
现在全美各地到处都有中国资金在收购我们的农地，所以我很高兴看到川普、每日电讯以及各界目光现在终于都锁定在这个大漏洞上了。
克洛伊，那你会不会担心有超过100万个在美国出生的中国宝宝现在人在中国这件事儿？
It sure does.
我当然非常担心，罗伯。我认为，也许我们该向日本好好学习，是时候该终结这种属地主义的出生公民权制度了。川普目前正在着手推动这件事，我非常希望看到这条法律能被彻底落实，这才是合情合理的做法。
珍妮，你之前亲自去敲了其中一栋民宅的大门，对吧？我们来看看当时发生了什么事。
德州政府指控你大批带中国孕妇来这里待产，你对此不方便透露吗？他在录音录影了，没错，不好意思。
I'm sorry.
我无可奉告，我没办法提供你任何资讯，好吗？
Yeah, look at that creeper.
天哪，看看那个形迹可疑的家伙，衣服上还写着让美国再次成为牛仔之国。 珍妮，那家伙在干嘛？他是这家店的负责人吗？
对，他穿那件衣服真的让我当场傻眼。不过那个人确实有被列在诉讼名单中，他是德州政府控告的被告之一。所以当他走过来开门时，我震惊地发现竟然就是本人。他完全不想回应任何对他的指控，只是急忙把我赶走，口中还嚷嚷着说要找律师。等他关上门后，我走到街上拍了几张照片，想记录下这些房子的外观。结果他竟然跟了出来，反过来拿手机录我，还强行要求看我的身份证。
他最后，你是说他居然有脸跟你要身份证？
没错，他态度强硬的要检查我的证件，简直莫名其妙。
克洛伊，从某个角度来看，这难道不觉得令人毛骨悚然吗？美国人又不会专程跑到中国去生小孩，这整件事跟那个男的到底能有多诡异？
如果满分是10分，这绝对高达25分，真的极其诡异。
我想说，不然我们干脆也组团去中国生小孩好了。不过真要选的话，我才不去中国，我宁愿去圣路西亚之类的度假胜地。谁想去中国生啊？珍妮。不过说到那个社区，那看起来明明就是德州顶级的安静郊区，附近的邻居对此有什么看法？他们知道隔壁在搞这种勾当吗？
有的。当我跟他们解释这些房子在法律上被指控的恶行后，他们才恍然大悟，回想起以前确实看过一些蛛丝马迹，比如常有大批面孔陌生的亚洲人在各种奇怪的时间点进进出出，门口也总是停满了不同的车辆。但你知道吗？最让我感触良多的是，我们国家现在有大批的美国年轻人连一栋房子都买不起，结果这群中国人竟然能靠着这种非法勾当大发横财，这显然已经变成一门暴利行业了。
而他们就躲在这些豪宅里数钱。没错，这对我们土生土长的美国公民来说真的很糟糕。珍妮泰尔，非常感谢你今晚抽空前来，精彩的深入报道。克洛伊特拉帕纳多，期待下次再邀请你来节目。很高兴见到两位，谢谢。
掌握资讯与真相，才能拥抱自由。锁定 Newsmax， 为真实人民传递的真实新闻。
Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.
All right, an update now to a wild story that we've been following. Chinese nationals are taking advantage of birthright citizenship laws, having little Chinese babies on U.S. soil, meaning they are U.S. citizens, but then they take them back to China and raise them there. And right now there are over 1 million children that were born in the U.S. being raised in China. Over 1 million. Think about that. Because this is what's happening here in the state of Texas right now.
They're being encouraged to get their tourist visas before they get pregnant, allegedly, and then they're being told, come here, we have everything set up for you, allegedly, and come to one of these homes, we'll take care of your stay, we'll take you around, even take you to tourist sites.
Tourist sites? Look at that neighborhood. Beautiful houses, beautiful neighborhood, being rented out so Chinese women can have birth and then go see the Alamo. Jenny Terre is the immigration reporter for the Daily Wire who you just saw. She broke the story, and Chloe Trapanado is an opinion writer at the Daily Wire. Ladies, nice to have you tonight. Jenny, can you take us through what's happening in these homes just outside? This is outside Houston, Texas.
Right, exactly. So outside Houston, Texas, in quiet suburban neighborhoods, there are about 4 homes that have been identified in a state lawsuit that are accused of operating as these Chinese birth tourism centers, where they're essentially bringing Chinese women from China. They're coaching them allegedly on how to navigate the U.S. immigration system and essentially to commit immigration fraud. And then they take care of them. They ensure their birth is facilitated here, that baby gets citizenship, and then you can go right back home. And this is all happening in these quiet neighborhoods where really you wouldn't suspect a thing.
No, all right, just a quick follow-up. How much does it cost? And are these Chinese women, are they having the babies at those houses, or are they going down to like the local hospital?
Yeah, so all of this is being posted on their TikTok account, by the way, so you can see their interactions at the hospital. They are appearing to give birth at local hospitals here, and then, of course, taking those babies back. But the thing is, they're committing fraud, allegedly, because when you're coming here and being coached to get a tourist visa, but you're really coming to give birth to a U.S. citizen baby that you can reap benefits from eventually. When they turn 21, they can start to apply for status for their parents and for any siblings. So it's just committing, again, that fraud, but then also you're engaging in chain migration.
It's insanity. Chloe, also, you got to get that birth certificate. So clearly these people are exploiting our laws. Chloe, why have the kids born here I know that Jenny just sort of touched on this, but why make sure they're born here and then raise them in China? Why do that?
Well, I think they're probably being taken back to the CCP to be indoctrinated there by the communists. And then they come back over here after they've gotten their education by the communists. And then they come back to America and take advantage of our systems. Like Jenny said, you did excellent reporting on this. I watched all of the videos. I just cannot believe that this is happening right in front of our eyes in, like you said, these quiet suburban neighborhoods. And they do it all under the guise of tourist visas, just like they're taking a little staycation in America. But the purpose of a temporary visa is not to steal U.S. citizenship for a child by giving birth in the United States. And of course, all of this comes on the heels of another Chinese spy, Eileen Wang, being found guilty to acting as an illegal agent of the Chinese government. We have Chinese-backed purchasing of U.S. farmland all over the place. So I'm very glad that Trump and the Daily Wire and all eyes are kind of being targeted on this right now and working like this.
Chloe, does it concern you that there are more than 1 million of these little Chinese babies that were born here that are now back in China?
It sure does, Rob. And I think maybe we should take a page out of Japan's book and maybe put an end to birthright citizenship. Trump is working on it, and I'd like to see that get solidified.
This is justification. Jenny, you knocked on the door of one of these homes. This is what happened. Take a look.
The state is saying that you're bringing Chinese women here to give birth. You can't talk about it. He's recording.
I'm sorry, I cannot give you any information.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that creeper. Make America cowboy again. What was he doing, Jenny? Is that like the madam?
Yeah, that shirt really threw me for a loop. But that guy is actually named in the lawsuit. He's a defendant in it by the state. So when he approached me at the door, I was really shocked to find that he was the one who answered. And when he answered, he didn't want to talk about any of the allegations against him. And he shooed me away quickly and said he needed to get a lawyer. So by the time that was over, I walked down the street, was taking some photos to show what these houses look like. And then he came out and was recording me, demanded my ID. He eventually, was... He demanded your ID? I gave him... Yes, he demanded my ID.
All right, Chloe, on some level, isn't this just kind of creepy? Like, Americans aren't going to China to have babies. Like, how just creepy is this? And that guy?
Scale of 1 to 10, it's a 25.
Right.
Very, very creepy.
Right. I think so.
Maybe we should all just start going to China and having babies. Well, actually, no.
I wouldn't do it in China. I'd go to like St. Lucia or something, like, like someplace. I wouldn't China. Jenny, just what are that neighborhood? I mean, this looks like a great like suburban Texas neighborhood. What do the neighbors think? Like, do they know what's going on?
Yeah. So once I kind of explained to them what these properties are alleged to be doing inside, they started to kind of realize they had seen some of the signs of that. Lots of Asian people going in and out at all different times.
Right.
Lots of different cars at the properties. But, the other thing that really struck me is that in this country right now, so many young Americans cannot afford homes. Meanwhile, you have these Chinese people who are essentially operating this scheme and making supposedly a ton of money off of this. It's a very profitable industry that's
and paying cash for these homes. Pricing out American citizens. It's terrible. Jenny Terra, appreciate you being here. Excellent reporting. Chloe Trapanato will have you back. Great to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.